Negative thoughts imprint or embed themselves deeper and easier on our minds, and they linger for a longer period of time than positive thoughts do. If you think about your feed on social media or the news feed that might show up on YouTube or whatever, Facebook or TikTok, whatever social media you choose to use, most often you're going to find that you're going to see more and more negative news. And in the news industry, there's a saying that if it bleeds, it leads. And if it believes, it leaves. And it's for that reason that the negativity intentionally and automatically grabs our attention and will distract us. So if you think about that, what article do you think is going to attract your attention more? Is it going to be a negative one? Or is it going to be a feel-good, heartfelt piece that's trying to spread a positive message? It's going to be the negative one every single time. That's the one that's going to gain the most attention. Welcome back to another episode of Sweat Talk. My name's Chad, and today I want to talk about how to forgive yourself. But before I get too far, I want to clear up some things about the channel lately. The first thing, you're probably going to notice that I did away with the name of In Nutrition and in Health, and you're going to see my name on there. And the reason for that is because I keep hearing from you guys that you can't search it. If you search in nutrition or in nutrition and in health, nothing shows up. You can't find the channel. The reason I haven't been using my actual name is because people have a hard time pronouncing it and spelling it. It's Chad Lisonbee. But I was using Chad Listen to Me, and that didn't work either. It wasn't searchable for some reason. And Chad Listen to Me was a nickname that I was given in high school because nobody could pronounce my name. So they all started calling me Chad Listen to Me. And I think it's extremely applicable to these videos. The second thing I want to clear up is my goal date of posting videos every 90 days. A couple videos ago, I said was November 11th. And I'm sorry if I wasn't clear about what is going to happen after November 11th. All that means after that 90 days and November 11th, all that means is I've reached my goal. And that I may not be posting videos every day. I might be, I might not be, I don't know. We'll see. I just don't know that this amount of work is feasible without burning out over time. I enjoy making these videos, and I want to keep it that way. I will still be here every week, probably posting at least 2 to 3 videos a day, maybe more. But yeah, November 11th, all that means is that's my end goal when I started posting this type of content for 90 days. I'll be here. I ain't going nowhere. So back on the topic, now that that's done. Once you have a thought, once it goes through your mind and you create that thought, you end up creating neural pathways to where it's easier for similar thoughts or that same thought to make its way back into your mind. It's one of our built-in safety mechanisms that we have to keep us safe. So we always look out for the threat. We look for danger. So by default, our minds make it easier for us to access that negative thought or that danger. That may be one of the reasons why when you have regrets, you'll sit there and ruminate on it. And it'll just play over and over and over in your head as you ruminate on it. Just like a cow, right? Or a goat. The ruminant animals, and they puke in their mouth so they can process the food. They puke in their mouth so they can process the food. And they do that a number of times, and that's where the term ruminate comes from when we're thinking about our thoughts, is it's happening over and over again. In order to forgive yourself, you need to set aside time to focus on yourself and to focus on your feelings and emotions. You need to try to not think or believe in absolute terms. Then you go to English professor or language specialist, they'll always tell you, never speak in absolute terms. I feel the same way about the thoughts that we have regularly. Don't think or speak in absolute terms. When you speak in absolute terms, it's going to be harder to progress past those absolute terms and those absolute thoughts. Because remember, absolute is 100%. And we're going to be telling ourselves that because we have regrets or we did something stupid, which we all do, when we think in an absolute, That's a fact. And we're not going to be able to progress past those regrets or those facts, because that absolute thought, that absolute term, it becomes our perception, which is 100%. Acknowledge that guilt, something that you said or did that you wish you didn't. And in the future, before you make an action, especially an action or say something out of emotion or aggression, remember the things we do and the things we say, we can't take those back. Once it's been said, it can't be unsaid. Once it's been done, it cannot be undone. And those are absolute. You have to face where you are and acknowledge where you are, what you've done, where you went wrong, and don't justify that shit. Acknowledge it, understand it, and remember that we all make mistakes, and we all do shit that we didn't really mean to. But at the moment or at that time, for whatever reason, we felt it was the right thing to say or do, and we didn't think about the consequences of our actions. Oftentimes it's because we're being controlled by our emotions, and we don't realize it. It happens. It happens to the best of us. All we can do is just do our best to not let it happen. And think about like getting into an argument with your significant other, maybe your child or parent, somebody that you love, somebody that you care about, and you're in that heated moment of passion, having a passionate conversation, and somebody says something and it's mean or maybe even hateful. If you're married and you're having that passionate conversation with your spouse, sometimes people might say, I want a divorce, or I knew getting married was a mistake. Once we say that or we think that, you can't take that back, man. You cannot take that back. And if we go back and look at that neural pathway that I was speaking about earlier, that impression is left in our minds. And it's easier for us to have that thought, and it's easier for us to say that again. If you're a newlywed, chances are you're going to have that kind of a conversation. Well, you will, especially if you're a newlywed. You're going to have that kind of a conversation. They're a part of a relationship, and early on in your marriage, when you're learning to live together, learning to love one another, and learning to grow together, those are the challenges that we're going to face. You know, fortunately, I don't know what it's like to go through a divorce, but I do know the people that I know that have gone through a divorce, they're constantly telling each other, or their significant other, extremely mean, hurtful, and unloving things like, I hate you, or I never should have married you. I knew this was a mistake. And that'll continuously come up in conversation. And when I got married, when Robin and I got married, the preacher that married us, that did our vows, one of the things he said was, you can never tell each other that you love each other enough. And I completely agree with that. My wife and I will tell each other probably a couple hundred times a day how much we love each other. There's never a moment where if we have to separate to go to the store, sometimes even leave the bedroom to go to the kitchen, that we don't tell each other that we love one another. All that does is continue confirming in our own minds we're in this for the long haul, and we truly do love one another. We want nothing more than to be able to enjoy each other's company. And there isn't a minute that passes by that's taken for granted when we have the ability to love each other. 24 years of marriage, I think it's been pretty damn successful. We've been together and married over half of our lives. We've been together and married our entire adult lives. And unfortunately, most will never be able to say that. In my opinion, that's an absolute tragedy. It's a terrible thing. And I feel for anybody that has to go through a divorce or that is alone. I feel for you. I don't remember what it's like, aside from the times where I've had to leave for several months, you know. But even then, it's only been temporary for me. And I can't wholeheartedly say that I can sympathize, because I've always known that I have her home waiting for me. In order to forgive yourself, though, you have to be able to express compassion for yourself. You have to be able to express compassion for you like you would for one of your loved ones, like you would for your significant other. Treat yourself that way. Show compassion. You have to be able to do it. I say don't regret your past, because it's going to shape. Your past is what's going to shape you in the future. But you have to be compassionate and realize that we all make mistakes. Nobody is exempt from that. The only thing we can do is we can try to not make those mistakes, not make those decisions that we're going to regret in the future. which will in turn help shape us in the future to be the good people that we actually are and not full of regret. You know, I don't care if you go to church or how holy you are or whatever. People are sinners. People are going to do things. We are going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. But if you can be compassionate to yourself like you would to the people that you love, forgive yourself for those things that you've done wrong in your past, you're going to find that it's far easier to move on. It's going to be far easier to get over it. You know, if you look at the 12 steppers, the Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous, I don't remember what step it is, and I don't remember any of the details, but I know one of the steps is learning how to forgive yourself. And it says something along the lines of accepting our wrongs, forgiving ourselves and the others who have harmed us. I know I'm butchering that because I don't remember exactly what it says, but I do remember that that is one of the steps. Being compassionate for ourselves is one of the most powerful things that we can do, because that's something that we'll be able to take with us into the future as well, as help us get over our past traumas and our past regrets. You also have to express remorse. You do need to be remorseful for the things that you have done, and not try to brush them off as they were nothing until you're able to express a compassion or be remorseful for your actions. You'll never actually be able to, I guess you have to acknowledge them. And until that point, until that time, you'll never be able to apologize to yourself for them, because you're trying to suppress them and not bring them back. The past is the past, what's done is done, right? At least that's what we believe. That saying is correct, what's done is done, and we can't take it back. We don't get do-overs. We don't get restarts. Therefore, we have to acknowledge them. We have to have remorse, and we have to have compassion, and we have to apologize to ourselves. Once you take all these steps, you're going to be a lot less likely to make the same mistakes in the future. You've acknowledged that those things that you have done are wrong. You did something wrong. You may have harmed or said something wrong. And your heart, your mind, your soul is not going to allow you to do those things again. You're able to form that positive neural pathway to remember and protect yourself in the future, because something negative came from that situation. You're not going to want to deal with the dangers or the hazards that you have faced, the consequences that you suffer from your prior actions. So that's all I got for today, guys. I want to thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate all the well wishes. I'm grateful for each and every one of you guys. Thank you for the amazing, overwhelming support. And I'm not going anywhere. I'll still be here. I will still be making videos. I'm building something here. We're building something here. We're building something great. All it's going to do is continue to grow, and I wouldn't be able to grow any of it or build any of it without you guys, which are the building blocks or the foundation of what we have. So with that, I appreciate you, and I hope each and every one of you has a wonderful day. Peace.